VCR Redux will begin in T-5 minutes.
What the fart is VCR Redux?
It's the show where we take movies from the VCR era and bring them back to today.
Well, how do we do that?
Well, we start by talking about a VHS classic, and usually you'll say something like,
I haven't been this uncomfortable since I watched Meatballs 4, Meatballs to the Rescue with my parents. Oh yeah, or you'll say something stupid like,
I wish we lived in a world where the Garbage Pail Kids made as many movies as the Muppets.
but I know you'll always see it through with a positive attitude.
I hate this movie, I hate being here, I hate all of this. Oh, Jamie Kennedy. Oh, well, shit. Well, let's go for this.
He was in Son of Mask. This is genius.
I am not a gamer. I'd rather read books.
Ian's like the old lady that's like, I got video game monsters, I got movie monsters in here.
As long as we respect the passion and the artistry that went into these films.
You know, obviously they took this movie, it's 93, right? You're like, what do you want to see in your Mario movie? And they're like, oh, we want it to be grim, we want a lot of death, we want tits and ass.
Oh, and then we start the pitch ideas with modern day sequels like
Weekend at Bernie's 3, Cocaine Mountain.
Sometimes we take it kind of seriously.
I'll watch a Paul Verhoeven alien movie.
oh my gosh, that alien will have more vaginas than anything you've ever seen in your life. Sometimes this Hawaiian shirted fool will pitch something stupid like,
I would take out the virtual reality stuff and just have it be about Jeff Fahey mowing the lawn.
Sometimes the best pitches come from the live chat.
Alex Bonafonte also pitches Grand Theft Starfighter Vice Galaxy.
wait, I thought I had the best pitches.
And what happens at the end of the movie? The ultimate fart. The fart that the warmth goes like all the way down to your socks.
The only rules are, there are no rules. Sometimes we cross over franchises.
Only the truck from Tango and Cash can kill Christine.
And sometimes we travel back in time.
Like 1995 is missing a good Universal Soldier sequel.
But you never know what we're gonna pitch next.
What do you want? Do you want Daniel Stern behind like a muzzled mask? Like,
We all know it should be Pesci behind the mask, and like underneath the mask, you should hear him going like fritter, 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 fritter.
you are so proud of yourself for that one. I can't stand you.
I would also love to see a Charles Bronson version of It's a Wonderful Life.
What?
Direct to DVD.
If you made a shot-for-shot remake of Scarface with Goofy as Al Pacino, it would be amazing.
Oh my God.
Dorsey, you need me to be the bad guy.
It's like the worst 1987 Disney movie Disney's ever made. Schlongo, directed by Jim Wynorski.
Like, I would watch a whole bowl of that.
Do the John Holmes story. Add a comedy spin to it.
The Wonderland murders are so funny.
I'd watch it on my mobile.
Something happens and he goes into a coma. He gets like, hit by a car or something. I know this is dark, but like, bear with me. He's got to go on.
Did you just go like Hard to Kill with Ferris Bueller?
I'd watch it on my iPad.
If you want to just like throw in the kitchen sink, it all works. Like Alien versus Predator versus RoboCop, like if that works. Alien versus Predator versus Terminator, that works.
Alien versus Predator versus Ernest, that works.
That works.
I respect everything you just said. I need David Silver and Terry Silver and the Sloan family all learning the Quicksilver, but they're doing it in Breakin' 3 Hydraulic Boogaloo. And it's underwater. It's gonna be incredible. Eat your fucking shit out, James Cameron. I got the underwater movie you can't touch.
That was the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my life.
Mr. Toxie Goes to Washington.
My ass would be in the theater tomorrow.
If Harley Quinn gets 7 movies, then Tank Girl should get at least 70.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life.
I mean, why should we even bother with Look Who's Talking when Air Bud is soaring to new highs?
All I know is I want Danny McBride.
I'd want him doing anything other than writing Halloween movies, honestly. Anything that keeps him away from that fucking job, I'm for it.
Just let him talk out of his butt. I don't care how he does it.
I'd rather not.
Austin Powers doing the Macarena.
That would be the opening credits. Come on.
But we have not yet had Die Hard on a half pipe. What if John McClane Jr. was a pro skateboarder and also an avid machine gun enthusiast? Skater Die Hard.
What up, virtual people? Welcome to the 178th episode of VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2025. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined as always by my co-host with the most complaints, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And the VCR's favorite location scout, Michael Ricci, is back on the show.
Less chatter, more chores.
And rounding out this righteous crew, coming to you all the way from the Kentucky Fried Country, proof that big things come in small packages, the bearded miniaturist himself, Preston Poling, is back on the show.
Hey, what's going on? I'm glad to be back. It feels like it has been forever. I am ready to dive into this franchise.
It has been too long. We are here today to open up a can of whoopee, to kick it on key with Kathy Najimy, and to take Ian away from my God. That's right, folks. This world needs Sister Act 3, and we're here to give it to you. But before Ian starts going off about gas station cars, we got a dish on how Sister Act came into our lives and what we love about it. And of course, that goes double for you at home and everyone watching the live chat. Is it Love at First Laserdisc, Vital VHS? Hit us up in the chat and let us know how Sister Act came into your lives. But Preston, when did you first get Sister Act?
I bought Sister Act. I was Sister Acted. I bought it. I remember where I got the VHS tape. I got it at Toys R Us. Remember when they used to have the little wall of tags and you kept the tag? I got Sister Act from Toys R Us. And I loved it. I think I wore that thing out.
The giraffe,
I don't know why. I don't know why it was, to me, it was such a good movie that I liked as a kid. I probably wasn't even the demographic for this movie, but it was just one of those feel-good movies. I just loved it.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Sister Act kid. It's like beautiful. It's
the prequel.
It is pop culture. It's wonderful. Yes, this is the prequel that we need. We're in pitch time already. Michael, when did you first get Sister Acted? When did you first get sistered?
I think it was something similar. Like I remember Jumanji in the theater. So too much before that would have been I would have been like too young, right? So I think I'm pretty sure it was a VHS, and but I didn't buy it. Like it was like rented for us, or it was like a movie night as a kid, and it was fun. It was good. Like I don't like things usually that edge on musical, and for me, like the second one is a full-blown musical, but it was good and it had an edge, and to me it almost, the first one, because it's like darker at the beginning, it feels like an Eddie Murphy movie. To me it's so much fun eventually to do it and like go through it.
Interesting you say that, because I feel like it's almost, in some ways, it's as Whoopi Goldberg of a movie as it can get. Like, not to contradict you too hard, but like I was just thinking about this. It's like Jumpin' Jack Flash, but it's like the most ultimate version of it. Like every Whoopi Goldberg movie, with the exception of Ghost, was like, hey, what do you like? I'm just trying to live my life, and you get me to do this crazy thing. Like, why is this crazy thing happening?
How is this not insane. Exactly that, dude? It's exactly that.
No,
like, I'm not
but this
tie
is
on
that.
The
it's
sword
perfect.
in my intro, but
like,
I mean, you just made Whoopi Goldberg the Don Knotts of the 90s.
No, what I'm saying is Eddie Murphy. Look. We did Golden Child. Watch that episode.
There's so many nuns in a nunnery.
We did Golden Child. Watch that episode. Eddie Murphy walks into a scene and he just talks forever, like I do sometimes. And that's what Whoopi does. Whoopi just goes and goes and goes and makes the jokes and does the thing and makes things go. Yes, the structure of the story, I guess, is there. She's at a nunnery and she's got to do that, or she's at the school. And Eddie does the same thing. And I was thinking, because they're both religious, you could cross this over with Golden Child because of the religious elements, and you could find a way to do that with like superstar headline. Bring Wesley Snipes in if you want to, just bring everybody. But it felt like it could cross over with Golden Child and was a similar type of movie.
What, Dolomite?
That is an epic crossover I did not expect, but I am pretty much here for it.
Just pitched a Rudy Ray Moore nun movie.
Basically. Ian, when did you first see it? I stole
Rudy Ray Moore would crush in this. Oh my God. Someone's got to take Bill Nunn's place.
I'm here to preach about God. Dolomite.
You motherfucker!
Yeah, pretty much.
That would be incredible.
Get out of here.
You hedonistic motherfucker! I would love that shit. Dude, take my money. Take my fucking
Yeah,
money.
that does
All
sound
right,
really
what,
funny. Yeah.
what gas station?
Church deep.
What gas station did you rent this from, Ian?
So, so I remember. I mean, I didn't see this in the theater or anything like that, but I remember it was my. I've talked about this before, but my grandma and grandpa Klink had a huge. They were the only ones I knew had VHSs. Like growing up, you know, we had cable, we had HBO, we had stuff like that, but I didn't have a lot of like VHSs. You know, if I got you know, like we'd go rent at the store or you know, we had a few of those recorded, you know, where you have like 3 movies on one, you know, tape that you wrote with different pen. You know, the nostalgia in all of us know that. But I had those, but I never actually had like bought a VHS tape where it was just the movie itself. Right? I didn't have a lot of those. But my grandma Klink, bless her heart, you know, Grandma Martha was part of that 6, you know, 6 movies for a penny club.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
like Columbia House things.
Yeah, something like, you know,
I think I still owe them money.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody did it.
The best one ever is the Time Life SNL collections from the night where you get like the best of 75, the best of 76.
Yeah,
Nothing
you've
will
said
ever
that
take those,
before. Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah, but
live for those.
Grandma Martha, you know, had a lot of VHSs, and I used to love going to their house and just seeing all their VHSs, and among those was Sister Act. You know, was both the Sister Act movies. So that was the first time I remember watching Sister Act. Was at my grandma and grandpa's Klink's house.
Grandma Martha Lazarus.
She had, they loved comedies. I mean, they had the Grumpy Old Men movies. They had the Porky movies. They had, you know, the Airplane, the Naked Gun movies. They had all of those movies on a VHS by itself. And you know, so I used to just spend hours just looking at the VHS, and Sister Act was one of those. So.
Oh man. So what age are we talking here? Like,
oh gosh, I was probably, I mean, you know, 9, 10.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was around the time that the movie came out.
and you're a child, you grew up in the church. Like, does this hit you as like, I wish my church was like this, or you know?
Honestly, it in a weird way, it never hit me like that. It's kind of funny you bring up Jumping Jack Flash, because that was like one of the movies that my parents had recorded.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
if you're of a certain age, yeah, you definitely access
Jumping
that one.
Jack Flash. So I always, you know, Chris and I have talked about this a lot. You know, sometimes there's an actor, and what you'll do is you'll when you're a kid, you put that actor is based on that movie that you saw them in, and it could be the most obscure one of their career. You know, like there's somebody out there.
Theodore Rex.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's somebody out there who, you know, their entryway to Whoopi Goldberg is, you know, telephone.
Eddie.
You know,
It's Eddie.
Eddie. Oh God.
Eddie. Oh man.
Talk about Eddie Murphy territories, Eddie.
Sure.
But like that, you know, Jumping Jack. So I was always like, that's the Jumping Jack Flash lady, you know. And they had Ghost. Like, I remember my grandma had the movie Ghost. That's where I first saw Ghost, and I was like, "Oh, it's Jumping Jack Flash." Okay, you know, that's how I labeled. You know, it wasn't.
Chris, we referred to this earlier, though. Like, to me, it is a lot like her character in Ghost. It's like very similar.
It is, yeah. It's.
I guess, yeah. Even Ghost, she's playing the classic Whoopi Goldberg. Like, I'm just trying to live my life. Quit putting me in
I'm
these crazy
disagreeing with you
situations.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing that it really did wrong for in the first one is her career, and then by the second one, her career gets going again, and she, you know, so it's like, I don't know. And totally going to Vegas from Reno is a huge upgrade, right? So like in the second one. Oh, sorry, I thought you were.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
For the second one to go like it deeper into school and all that, I didn't want any of that. I wanted like crime and gangsters and like Reno and Vegas. And so I never really liked too much. I watched one, and like I wouldn't just always put on two, you know.
Well, I can understand wanting the crime and that kind of stuff, and the Vegas stuff, the Reno stuff, whatever, the gangster stuff. But if you know, I feel like that's the one part of the script in the first one that the writer just had like no interest in. He's just like, yeah, the crimey guys do crimey things, and we get out of
Dude, by the
church,
end,
you know.
they pull a Three Stooges. The three of them are trying to get through some of the things, and they get stuck, and it's totally like
that kind of ruins the whole mobster persona there.
I know.
A
And then
little
by
bit,
the
but
end,
I mean,
they're
you
like,
know.
she's a nun, I can't do it. And then they officially say she's a nun, so it's like I can't do it. Okay.
But there was this period of time where like every gangster in a movie was like the guys from House Guest with Sinbad. If you ever, the two guys are like, which way did he go, George? I don't know.
I hate you, Chris. Oh,
I was hungry. I wasn't paying attention.
Or the guys from like Baby's Day Out or something like that.
Yes, exactly.
It's always
Baby's Day Out, yeah.
It's always that
fucking
one guy. What's his name?
the guy from 16 Candles. Come on, Jake. You talk like you're hot up. You got Carol Ann. She's a poor man.
But the main,
Oh, the other one. Oh, Mr. Aphistopheles. Oh, forgive me. I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like if you're doing
he was also a John Hughes guy. He was in hey, I can still look. I just can't touch, right? I think that was him.
Well,
oh, God.
This is going deep.
It's like
we're getting
comedy mafia. It stars this guy, for a period there.
The
anyway, we're putting way more thought
into mafia one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like he's bald, but
like a Leslie Nielsen movie. Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna cast, there's certain ones. It's like if it's a serious mafia movie, it's any of the cast members from Sopranos.
Well, then there's Richard Portnow, who was on The Sopranos, and he was in Kindergarten Cop. As he's one of my.
And with the music thing, it fits. Soprano or alto, it kind of fits.
How have I not made that mashup yet? Just Whoopi Goldberg.
Chris, I'll burn in those little crevices you can't find. In between Hawaiian shirts and gas station pizza, the location scout gets in there.
Wow. Thank you, sir. All right, so before I get to my first time getting sistered, I guess I have to go to the live chat here. Yeah, I was just sitting there, hanging there. Someone had to do it. But let's see who's watching tonight. We got Angie Saunders, the mashup genius. Monica Thyman, our favorite Swede from across the pond. Whiskey 4-1, the great Alex Bonafonte. Mikey Riffraff, the other mashup genius. Oscar Toranzo, the statue himself. Sean Ellis, let's hope he's sober this week. No, I'm just kidding, buddy. We got to get you a better nickname. Cobra Kai Never Dies, our friend Joanne. Gold's Code, the great Sean Gold in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. Whiskey 41 says, I watched this first on cable. Meh. Well, thank you for tuning in, even though you find the movie meh. Hopefully we can bring the comedy for you. Monica Thyman says, I saw both Sister Act on video. Love them both. Funny, crazy, and lots of good music. Well, Monica Thyman is quite the musician herself, so I defer to her. Mikey Riffraff, this is another great VHS rental from Tape Tavern. I don't even know what Tape Tavern is, but I want to go there. That sounds awesome.
Like Midwesty. Yeah.
That does sound Midwesty. That sounds like the comfort, like the warmth of a hot chocolate on like a winter's morn. That just sounds lovely. Angie Saunders says, was Sister Act before Ghost? I only like the first Sister Act. Agree with you on that, except for the first part is wrong. Sister Act was after Ghost.
Yeah.
Oscar Toranzo says, I watched Sister Act in school. Some girl had the VHS. I was 10, living in Amsterdam. We took a few hours off of school, watched it with the other kids, and we were all happy after the movie and singing.
Yeah, 10. Perfect. It was like the age for this.
Sister Act was the movie that if you took a bus trip that had one of those TV VCR combos on the bus, you probably were going to watch Sister Act.
I will always think of The Cutting Edge when I think of those situations. I don't know. That's
they're really like safe movies, though. They're very safe.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But Ian, mobile VCR Redux, that's what you just came up with. Like, how can we get VCR Redux on the road? Well, Sister Act was on VHS and you put it in the bus. Like, that's pretty perfect.
We've talked about this a lot, and I teach it in my class. I mean, the 90s, if you whenever you define a decade when it comes to movies, I really think the 90s was the family comedy. Like the family movie was big in the 90s.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Like the kids movie / the family movie. Yeah.
Did it seem like it was like the pendulum kind of shifted to me when I'm watching like movies from the 80s? They'll have like a PG rating and I'll be like, damn, that was kind of edgy, or that was kind of
But the 80s were way edgy.
The 90s, and it's
hard
like
R.
Everything is just so pristine. And
Beverly Hills
clean
Cop
and,
or even like Lethal Weapon are good ones for that, because like early they're hardcore and then they kind of lighten up and get family.
Yeah, then they kind of chill out in the 90s. Yeah, it's weird how that
things,
kind of, there was that paradigm shift.
The MPAA makes no bones about it. They shift with what they believe are the shifts of the culture of time, and it's really very political about like kind of who's in charge. And in the 70s, I think they were looking out for nudity, but not so much gore. And then the 80s, they really tried to stamp out gore, but they didn't care how much like nudity and
Drug
exploitation
use
you
they
had in your
didn't care
movies.
about in the 80s.
And then in the 90s, it became the PC family. We gotta kidify this. We gotta soften this for kids. You know what I mean?
Disney,
It's like,
yeah, Mickey
yeah,
Mouse
Disney.
kids,
Yeah,
stuff
we gotta
like
like, oh,
that.
they're gangsters, but they gotta be like silly. Which way did he go, George? Gangsters. They
Punky
can't be very.
Brewster, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
they
Yeah.
can't be scary gangsters. Ian's country club children have to watch this movie. So,
Oh yeah, can't kill kids ever.
but there is
no,
some.
no.
There is some complaints. I think Gold's Code not so happy that this movie was always on TV. Same with the sequel. We couldn't even get Zangief for this episode. Was Backdraft 2 not available? Why not give us a Whoopi Goldberg movie that deserves a sequel, like Theodore Rex?
Oh my God, Theodore Rex.
Y'all
Terrible.
bashed that
Oh my
movie.
gosh.
Yeah, y'all sat through it. I don't want to hear it. Y'all sat.
Oh,
through
okay.
Well, Ian, that's because you love that show, Dinosaurs, right? That's basically what that was.
love
Theodore Rex.
The
Dinosaurs
90s
was
were
classic.
listen. The 90s were cool. Yeah, all these kids can be like, "Oh, retro." We thought the 90s really were cool. No, they actually really were. Like we had some cool stuff.
I guess.
But no, but it's true though. Like there was this swing there. I mean, the perfect example, and I always bring up. There's Major League and there's Major League II. There's a huge swift dynamic between those.
Corbin Burnson. Yeah,
and
yeah.
what the studio wanted. What did the studio want? They wanted families to rent Major League 2 on VHS and watch on a Friday night. Like that's what it was. And Sister Act was a great example of that. It's a funny movie. The family can all enjoy it. It does get serious for dad at a few moments, and there's a few little, highbrow jokes for mom and dad, but kids could enjoy it.
I never thought of the major leagues like this, but yes, they do actually represent like just a different moments in time from 94 to 89. Like, yeah,
Ian,
a lot of
you're
changed.
known for picking things later in a series like Meatballs 4. You can't leave out Major League 3 Back to the Minors and what Scott Bakula did for the franchise. Come on.
Oh, that is just
any movie with Bob Uecker.
Right? Exactly.
Bob
Yeah.
Uecker.
Yeah. R.I.P. Bob
I don't even
Uecker.
care if it's part 3 of Back to the Minors, but
I'm just saying, you just can't leave it out entirely. You can't just pretend that child doesn't exist.
Oh, you can.
That's how
parents don't want to admit, but there's that one kid you don't like.
Like with this, I've never seen the musical, right? There's a Sister Act musical. I've never seen it. I don't know what the story is. I don't know how it fits into the greater zeitgeist.
It's the first movie.
Yeah.
It's just.
I'm sure it's
Except Whoopi plays Mother Superior, so it's different, right?
See, here's the interesting thing about Sister Act, right? And I'll lead this segue into my first time getting sistered. But I think that the movie works even without the music, right? The music is like an added level, an added bonus. Like, Whoopi Goldberg, like crazy Vegas version of her stuck in a nunnery. Like, okay, yeah, that's enough for a movie. I'll watch that movie.
Yeah.
But the music like takes it to another level and gives it that like extra boost. But an interesting thing in the chat, just because I wanted to follow up on this, Mikey Riffraff says the Tape Tavern was a bar in the front and video rental in the back. So proof that they're
even cooler. That's
proof
amazing.
that America was once a great place. Also, Whiskey 41 saying we need Whoopi in a Fast and Furious movie. And also
I was thinking
Code...
that. Yeah, like Sister 2 Furious or something. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Furious.
Gold's Code comparing Major League 3 and Mighty Ducks 3. I will say Mighty Ducks 3 has strengths that Major League 3 couldn't have on its best day. And I'm not an apologist for Mighty Ducks 3. I know it's a fucked up movie, but there are some great moments in that movie. And Major League 3 doesn't have any of those.
It also didn't kill the franchise because they came back and did that show. So
yeah, that Game Changer shit is so bad. It makes Mighty Ducks 3 look like
that's what I mean.
Exorcist 3.
Yeah, it was like so bad that Emilio didn't want to come back for the next season or something like that.
Oh, well, they also tried to stiff him on money because, they wrote a horrible show and they knew it was going down. So
horrible.
Such a waste. I feel bad for all the original Ducks that came back. But anyway, getting back on track here. Goldsco does request a Camp Nowhere episode of VCR Redux. I've been campaigning for that for a while.
Man,
but my first time my first time getting sistered, I was probably 9 or 10 watching this on cable. Or maybe it was cable, maybe it was a rental. But I remember liking it, and then like the sequel coming, and then, you know, I was a very sequel hungry person back in the day, and I think a young me, the sequel kind of gained added layers of respect for me. Um, and now I look at it and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the Three Men and a Little Lady. This is like the sequel that we didn't need. The Look Who's Talking Too, you know, where it's like, oh man, like we didn't really have a story, but we love everyone and we wanted to bring them all back.
Yeah.
So here we are,
Yeah.
you know, and so they do The Substitute or The Principal because Dangerous Minds hadn't happened yet. You're welcome, Ian, for mentioning your favorite franchise. But
Tom Berenger?
he likes the Treat Williams
Substitute.
entries.
No, not Tom Berenger. Treat Williams. Give me
Yeah,
that.
there we go.
Didn't they make The Substitute 2 though, and it had Tom Berenger?
No.
2 is when
That's
Treat
Williams.
takes over.
It's
Tom
Treat
Berenger.
again?
Tom Berenger doesn't do sequels unless it's Major League 2. It's the only one that I
Give
think
me
he's like, I'll never do
Substitute
another one.
4. Failure
You
at all
keep coming back
costs.
to Major League 2. There's not even that many sports franchises that have that many sequels, you know?
Well, you know something?
That's
I just
crazy.
want to say this while we're on the Major League topic, that we honestly would have done a Major League episode a long time ago, but like it's weird now that the Guardians and it just doesn't make as much sense.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
we'll
you know, whatever. I don't want to get
memorialize
into
that.
all that. I don't want to get
Yep.
into all that, but
Yep.
you know, that's anyway, I do
We
love David
did.
Ward and I love the program. I love those
So many
movies.
shows
So
we've done. I was like, we already did a Major League. No, we didn't.
no, we didn't do.
No.
No, we haven't. We'll have to do Mighty Ducks at some point or something, but we'll keep the 90s. We'll keep the 90s flair alive.
Quack, quack.
But yeah,
Let's
so
do
I
Mighty
look back
Ducks
at
4 without Emilio Estevez again.
oh, it's the Josh Jackson Cobra Kai version. He takes over. Boom, you're set.
Not bad.
Gross. Who could ever not like Joshua Jackson? At any rate, yeah, no, I love the Sister Act movies. I think, you know, growing up, you appreciate the ensemble. Like it's just as much as Whoopi's great in it. Like Kathy Najimy is amazing in it. The girl from Camp Nowhere, which ties into this, who was Christopher Lloyd's love interest in that, Sister Mary, whatever. She's
Elizabeth.
fantastic in it. The old lady from Hook, you know, and
Maggie
Harry
Smith.
Potter. Yeah, thank you. She's fantastic. She just passed, right? Like just a second.
Yeah,
like
well, that's
last
the
year or
weird
something.
thing about the real life sequel is like Whoopi announced it years ago, and she really wanted Maggie Smith, and they were like, "Oh, we'll go to the UK and we'll make it there with you," and it was like, "All right," and then she died, and so it was like the last thing there is Whoopi saying like we're retooling it, and that was like 3 years ago or something. So
Apparently, it's supposed to come out this year, but
yeah, that's
you
what I
know.
mean. I don't know, like
It's like a Ghostbusters 3 thing. I believe it when I see it. Are we gonna burn
Right.
these
I mean,
three?
as
You know
much
what
as
I
I
mean?
like the first two, I've got to say I am not looking forward to and or interested in a third.
I mean, look at the math, right?
Other than the
It
ones that
comes-
we come up with tonight.
Yeah,
Other than those,
it comes
a
out
real
the
life
sequel,
one I don't want to see.
the sequel the immediate year after, and then nothing for 30 years. Like that's kind of weird to do.
Yeah, I get the legacy sequel genre is getting like those waters are, you know.
Well, it's
you
because
know.
Whoopi became kind of second tier. I think she.
Well, isn't she
that Oscar? I mean,
isn't
she
just
deserved
kind
that
of
Oscar.
villain? Isn't she kind of a villain at this point? Like, I mean, I don't look at Whoopi
That's
as
a
like
twist.
the warm, fuzzy Whoopi from the '90s. Like, I just think of this cantankerous old woman from her talk show. Like, I mean, I don't know her
Well,
or
she-
watch it,
well,
but
it's just-
every time I see her, she's fucking ornery about something. She, like,
What have you become, Dolores?
right?
Well, the problem is she didn't.
She could be the Maggie
follow-
Smith role then.
She didn't follow the formula the way most Hollywood actors do. Is you do the one that really hits, which Sister Act, whether you like it or not, hit,
Yeah.
and then you do a sequel, right? So now you establish a franchise.
Immediately.
But then she kept doing these other movies like Eddie, The Associate, all the.
Oh, The Associate.
Yeah,
And she didn't do what she should have done then, which is you do the couple bombs, and then you do Sister Act 3. Then you're allowed to do a couple other bombs, and then you do Sister Act 4. You got to give her
So
credit.
you're
She
saying
didn't do
don't
that.
wait 33 years to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, run the
that's
franchise.
Yeah. Even Tom Cruise decided, I better do Mission Impossible 3.
I think it was just all rushed. Like it was supposed to be Bette Midler originally, and so then
That's
Bette Midler
right, it
produces it instead, and they rushed.
It really
the
was.
sequel,
Wow.
and then the other connection is that later Bette Midler and Kathy and Jimmy and Hocus Pocus, an active franchise, and they're working together. So I think that's a better example of like how to run a franchise. You know, yeah, you don't do the next one immediately go into production on it. You wait a second, let it run on video, let it gain whatever, then you do it in like 95 or something, or 6, or like closer to 2000. And then you do it. Then you could have done it again in 2015 or somewhere where it felt appropriate. But by then, like, I want
Sister
to.
Act 2 is a movie I've seen maybe 2-3 times.
That's what I mean. 1 is the thing. So forget 2 is what I'm saying.
I don't remember anything from 2 except that it's about the kids and they sing that song at the end.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but I mean that could be the same. You could say the same thing about Sister Act 1. It's about those nuns and they sing that song. Listen, I'm gonna stand up for Sister Act 2.
No, that's fine. But my take on an actual sequel that capitalizes on the 1, which is what I'm about. Like, I'm picturing this as Jaws.
Mike wants to retcon Back in the Habit.
Like, Jaws 2 is probably the worst sequel ever, just because it's such a massive letdown from 1, and it's a horrible movie, and it shouldn't have focused on the people.
No, stop talking, stop it.
You really are going to defend Jaws 2,
yeah,
you
please
bastard.
defend Jaws 2. I will let you.
Die alone on this hill.
Shut your doggone mouth.
It's one of the worst.
No, Michael, shut up. In 1998, you rented Jaws 2. You were a kid, and you're like, I like this boat sailing thing. Hey, this is the guy from Christine.
This melodrama with this lady.
Jaws has a burnt face. You thought it was cool then. Stand by your grounds, you sellout. All right.
You can't even call him Keith Gordon. This is like you're dying in a gas station bathroom with a slice of pizza in one hand and a dirty magazine in the other. This is just shameful.
The point is, you liked it then. Don't call it the worst sequel ever.
It's so terrible. I watched Jaws and I want to immediately watch the second one. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it.
That's a bad sequel.
I'll tell you what. It's no Look Who's Talking Now.
Yeah, we did that already. Yeah,
it's no Look Who's Talking Now. With the animal, with the dogs. That's a great one. That's
Troll 2.
One.
Is it right there with Troll 2?
You watched it, Chris. You and I have talked about it. To our audience, he's gonna lie. He's going to lie to your face right now and say he didn't watch it. You watched it just like I did. And
I'm not gonna lie. I love it. There's a wink to Loverboy with Pizza Loco, Senor Loco's Pizza.
And you love the fact that it was Danny DeVito.
Any rate.
No, yeah, that's a big
Didn't I
downgrade
die
from
on
Bruce
some
Willis.
hill earlier? Like,
yeah, right.
Yes, you died on your lying hill, Jaws 2. Go ahead.
All right, so in the chat, we have a couple pitches already. The Great Whiskey 4-1 leading us off. His pitch, the sisters are back and are about to get medieval as a handsy priest needs to be punished. But an even handsier archbishop is determined to conceal and slap back. Kevin Spacey and Steven Seagal in Sister Act 3, Stains of the Cloth. I knew someone was going to come in here with a Mr. Act pitched. And while we're on this notion, I just want to say that somewhere in the multiverse, there is the let's rewrite this for a man version, and they did this with Tony Danza in like 1991. And I'm telling you that there's an Earth 97 or somewhere out there where that's real.
That's the Jim Belushi next to Mr. Destiny on the bookshelf.
It's in between Cadence with Charlie Sheen and the 5 Heartbeats. God, I've just embarrassed myself with these. Yeah, this is getting ugly.
Spacey, that's ugly. That's really
well, you know, Whiskey 4-1 is a man of tradition, and he Steven Seagals us every week. And hey, you know, you make a habit out of it, people respect you for it.
Yeah, habit.
Sean Ellis with a pitch. His pitch: Whoopi Goldberg is asked to come back to the convent to take over as Mother Superior. For the former Mother Superior has passed away, and she needs Lauryn Hill to come back and be the choir director. Wow,
that's who it was.
Actually,
I couldn't figure out who was in the second one.
Totally sensible.
Yeah, but
and
you're
I'm
never
not surprised
get
at you, Ian, for that. Ian, who is this again? Is it Chaka Khan?
I knew. I remember. It's like it's one of those like. You know how like every dumb thing that you see on Facebook, it's like,
is that Wang Chung?
Lauryn Hill was in. Oh yeah, I mean, Dokken did the music to Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, Mickey would be all over.
You know, it's like that's what Lauryn Hill in this movie is one of those dumb facts that everybody always says.
I mean, she doesn't do a bad job. It's just too on the nose because she's a singer in real life. The only
a Chevy Nova did its job. We don't have to.
2 is
bring it up
not
every
good, so there's
time
that, you
to
know.
prove
Listen,
that we watch movies.
2 is you couldn't make if they made the 1 you get me all flustered. If they made the 1, if they made 2 of the 1 that was exactly the same, we would be sitting here talking about like we didn't really need that sequel. It was
Yeah, because
exactly
we'd be
the same
talking
as the
about 4
first
or
one.
5 by
Preston,
now.
Preston
for
wants the
sure.
Godfather coda that came onto TV in 1978, where they spliced the 2 movies.
Yeah, no.
And
Look,
just made one long movie.
if there's another Earth where Tony Danza's in this, there is another Earth where we're talking about Sister Act 6 or some spin-off thereof, you know.
All I'm saying is Sister Act 2, for all its faults, it is kind of like, maybe on its best day, it's sort of got that RoboCop 2-ness of the studio wants the same movie again. Give us the same beat. She has to, like, you know, they got to find out at the end that she's not really a nun, and they can't. No, she lied to us, and you know.
At least in the first one, a guy dies. There are people with guns. You could die. In the second one, there's no stakes at all.
Well,
I'll tell you what, though,
lose the whole
there's
school. That's the thing. They're going to lose the school if they don't raise the funds. So
but you
they're
know
gonna
it's a
lose the
Disney
school.
movie, and they're not gonna. That's not gonna happen. So,
So they
you
come
know,
in-
James Coburn's gonna be like, "Okay, Goldberg,
I know James
let's
Coburn's
cut
like
you a check
dying
and
every
keep the
time he sits
school
down.
open."
You know. And the,
I can't believe
monk
they
guys are so dumb.
They save the school, and they all get to graduate, and they're all going to move on to do wonderful things.
To make
and
rap
that wouldn't
albums,
happen
yeah,
without back in the habit. That wouldn't have happened.
This may be the first movie that I can think of that seriously has the like white kid wants to be a rapper character, like
there's a
Seth
few,
Green can't hardly white character. Like it's either this or Beverly Hillbillies that I can think of that maybe did it first, or maybe there's something there must be something, you know, from like '89 or something that did it before this.
When you
Oh,
watch
Teen
it,
Witch,
the comedic
Teen
element
Witch,
like
fuck,
that,
and Dream Little Dream. They
It
both
brings
have
back
that.
it just brings back the not another teen movie. Every time I see somebody trying to do something, I'm just like, it's so cheesy.
Oh my God, I love
But
that actor.
The reason
though.
I like 2, though, I think, is because at that time, I mean, I was growing up in Waukegan, you know, just north of Chicago. So what you're seeing there, like those were the people I knew and saw every day, and it was, you know, it hit closer to home. And I mean, maybe if I was growing up in the suburbs, I'd be like, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah, no, I got that. I just think like there's a version 2 where it is Harvey Keitel and they are gangsters. Throw that in with Tarantino for the sequel and let's get going with that. You know, like he likes Harvey Keitel. Let's talk about that. Like I just felt like she's a showgirl. She sees all this stuff. When I see the word habit, I also think like intravenous drug problem, maybe not necessarily dressing like a nun, you know? So when you said back in the habit or backing the habit, I was like,
you're just proposing a Spike Lee joint. The Sister Act with Back in the Habit, where she's a drug
If
addict.
they do a Sister Act 3, I'm calling it Kicking the Habit. Because we're
kicking the habit, she's on drugs.
We're getting done with we're over the
Whoopi
habit.
Goldberg in that it's that that camera thing that he does where it's Whoopi Goldberg has a camera on her, like, you know, and she just goes through the church with the camera following her.
Sister Act 3, healthy heart habits.
I will say this, you know, it's funny earlier. I think Michael, you said it. And I can see it. I actually can see it. But there's an alternate universe version of Sister Act where it's literally it's this cover, but it's Eddie Murphy dressed at, you know, pretending to be a woman pretending to be a nun. You know, like it's a Victor Victoria version of Sister Act where he was doing his family friendly Nutty Professor years. And I can see
that. Oh gosh,
kind of a good movie.
The Big Mama's House kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, and it works.
Yeah, you know what? I could kind of see it.
You can see it. I'm not saying it's great.
I know you love Medea. I know you love Medea. Yeah.
Holy Man is not great.
Oh, Medea again.
But it's Medea. Oh gosh, give me anything with Medea. Oh, Medea Act.
I know Ian loves it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I just want to stop the show right now and just make that up in my head. Like I just want to
We
watch.
got to keep it in this musical vein, though. We could have Twisted Sister
Was
Act.
Chris the one
Oh,
that
I
just
love
gave
that.
you that idea? Chris said Medea. Were you
Oh.
not thinking of Medea?
I sometimes I just like to light the fuse and see what
Chris,
happens.
you did
know?
it. You
I
don't
did
do
it, yeah.
those things. Those are bad
Well,
things.
you know what? If I get to
That's what would have made Sister Act 2 even better. If it was Medea slapping the kids in the choir where they're being stupid and just getting them to get their life back together. That's genius. Take
Does Medea sing in Medea
money
movies?
in the offering. Give me that movie right
In
now.
the offering? Like in church?
Yes, I want that Medea Sister.
You drinking
Act.
the wine now,
Sister
too,
Act
the
3,
holy
The
wine?
Offering. You know what? You could do worse. You could do worse. But in the chat,
on movie low.
in the chat, there are a few more pitches. Gold's code with the pitch. You might want to cover your ears, Ian. But Dolores moves to Ohio to save the youth center from the evil preps, only to be drawn into a battle between Mitchell and the preps. Now she must use her wisdom and blading ability in Sisterborn. Okay, so here's what I love about this
That's
pitch
the
in
first
particular.
pitch of Bourne movies I would actually watch.
You've said that like
First
7
one?
times
Get outta
already.
here.
Yeah,
That's not true.
enough of that. Thou doth protest a little too
You've
much.
read them before, Ian. You know.
You've made those pitches now.
Yeah.
But this
I'm just
here's what I
surprised
love
it was
about
an
this.
air act because I might have gone that, take it to the skies, you know.
So the thing I love about this crossover is that Alana Ubach is in both movies, and you could easily make the case that Sister Act and Airborne are already in the same cinematic universe, and this is just a plane ride away from making all my '90s dreams come true. Because
So in
we've
the
got like,
dartboard that is VCR Redux, he hit tonight. He actually hit.
I think he hit a bullseye right on because
Yeah,
you've got like
the first time
you've got like Dangerous Minds, the substitute, and the principal in one circle, and you've got like Airborne and the glory of like Thrashin' and Rad and all those Kids on Wheels movies in another. And then right in the middle of that, you've got the great Whoopi Goldberg, you've got Alana Ubach. It all like you know it wants to come together. You've got like it just let it happen. Just it's perfection.
And Whoopi as a nun on rollerblades is
and you've got people rapping and musical like good vibe feeling like
boomboxes.
like the
all right. It's the inner city kids are bad class movie of all time. All right, but we're gonna blend it with Chris. Remind me of the title, but the Barbara Bush cartoon All Stars.
Cartoon All Stars to the rescue.
It's that version with Whoopi inner city, as the inner city nun, who hires Michelle Pfeiffer as this leather-bound, jean-wearing teacher, who also has to, you put Kid and Play from Class Act, not House Party, Class Act.
Class Sister
Better
Act.
movie. Mixed with Treat Williams from The Substitute.
Oh, he's going for it all.
Mixed with Jim Belushi as the principal. I mean,
It's
like,
too many mixes.
No Morgan Freeman?
Huh?
No Robert Downey Jr.
Morgan Freeman?
You didn't let me finish. Obviously, there's Morgan Freeman. He's the cameo at the end of the movie.
Right,
that
he's the
comes in and
president.
gives him the award.
Superintendent.
Yeah.
For,
How come the Pope never
Joe
shows
Clark.
up at the end of one? How come they never do that?
He's there.
I mean, not like.
Oh, not like, hey, Pope, and shake everyone's hand, and what a great time.
right? Like, isn't that supposed
that's
to
how John Paul II came into the room. Hey, how y'all doing? What is he, Guido Sarducci? Like, what?
He's like, hey, that's some pretty fucking good singing there. We call that and songs there. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We need the Guido Sarducci in this movie. We need Father Guido in this movie.
I can't believe we've talked about a movie based in Catholicism this whole time, and we haven't even meshed in any exorcism ideas.
there you go. Yeah.
Into Sister
Well,
Act.
There's your
for
mashup poster,
sure.
Sister Act with Regan from The Exorcist.
Exorcister Act. It's perfect.
Sister Act of Death.
Right.
Exorcister Act. I love that.
Or you
That's
just make it the
fucking
final
incredible.
one. Sister Act, the final chapter.
Sister Act 3, Vomit in the Habit.
The final act. Yeah, the final act is pretty
Final
interesting.
Give it two
for,
subtitles. Make it 3 full lines.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if you didn't have like any trailer for it? You just advertised it as Sister Act 3 coming soon with like Whoopi's big mug on there, and you don't have a trailer. And then at the end, it's like a slasher flick
It's just Whoopi's head.
Like
Sister Act
nobody's
Massacre.
You just did the Chucky 3. You just did Child's Play 3 VHS cover.
And
Just
it
Whoopi with
turns
evil
out
eyes.
that's what happens. She puts her soul in the body of, like, I don't know, the alarm clock from the first
With
one.
so much
God, is
time
that
has
a
gone by,
trend?
he could have gotten out of prison now, and now that's the whole thing. Is now it has been 30 years, so he served 30 years. He's back out, and he's fucking looking for Dolores again.
I've been
Where's
saying,
Jack?
Keitel, I've been saying he got hard. He got that prison body. He got a ton of tats. You know, like.
Oh, you're
Well,
Cape
Doesn't he
Fear
have
again.
that in a movie? What movie is he like buffed out in?
Bad
Doesn't-
Lieutenant, maybe something
Bad
like that.
Lieutenant.
With
Yeah,
like tattoos all over, and he's really buffed out.
I mean, you might be
Are
thinking.
you thinking of De Niro and Cape Fear?
Like De Niro's
Yeah.
all crazy in Cape Fear, you know.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
that
what
might
I'm
be what you're thinking
of.
of. Probably.
Maybe that is what I'm thinking of.
Cape
But
Fear is
there are-
hard to watch when he bites that
is-
lady's face. That shit's
Oh
hardcore.
man.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, that's really tough. So there are more pitches in the chat though to lighten things up. Mikey Riffraff with the pitch says there is a new pope in town, and he doesn't take kindly to the sisters' rambunctious form of praise. So Whoopi and the sisters rely on the underworld to evade the pope in Sister Act 3, Inquisition. I like that.
Yeah,
That's got
I
like
knew there
that-
was a Pope angle. That's really good.
That's
Oh my
got
god,
some
that would
like
be, honestly, okay. Somehow or another, all you have to do is you take the screenplay of Beautician and the Beast with Fran Drescher. All right, you take that script, you take the script of Sister Act, you mix it in a blender. Somehow or another, you get Ray Fiennes as the Pope reprising his.
Oh, that's
cosplay
easy,
Oscar.
Ray. But you didn't need a blender for Ray Fiennes.
I'm just saying, you throw that Ray Fiennes as the Pope with.
Isn't he the Pope right now in Conclave or something like
That's
that?
what I'm saying. He's going to win
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Oscar, so this is his reprise. It's
Well, so
the
why
comedy
do
Oscar.
that?
Sister Act 3, White Smoke. No, Harvey Keitel
Whoa, good one,
in
dude.
Grand Budapest. The Wes Anderson movie, the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, he's a prisoner in there. He's all buffed out and tattooed. He's pretty much his
Keitel.
version of,
Yep.
yeah, it was
Yep.
Keitel in that. That's what I was thinking of.
Yep. No, I got you. Yeah, that
It
works.
could
Is
be
it
his
wrong
version.
that I want to take every Wes Anderson movie, re-put it on YouTube, but like shift it over to the left?
I actually don't. I don't mind that though, Preston. Take elements from Grand Budapest Hotel, mix them with Sister Act, and make Sister Act 3. Bring in Ray Fiennes from that movie. Bring in Harvey Keitel. Bring in Ed Norton as some father.
No,
Like,
that's it. I'm calling you all out. None of you have ever watched that movie.
which
And
one?
Are you kidding
none
me?
None of you have ever
movie?
watched Grand Budapest Hotel.
What are you
all
talking
say
about?
that you watch it because you're supposed to say you watched that.
I saw it in the theater. I
Are
watched
you
it
Just
tonight.
insane?
just let him
Dude,
finish.
I have Wes Anderson
My
weekends where I just
word.
binge
None
Wes
of you
Anderson
have
movies.
ever
Dude, that
watched
part when
that
they go
movie.
sledding, when I go sledding, that's what I want to do, is what they do in that movie. It's so
Are
great.
you liars. You
Are
just
you kidding me?
you all
Ian's-
just
Ian's
say
not-
Number you here, Clink. We can crush you.
Listen,
Ian's-
listen.
Yeah.
I have Wes Anderson weekends where I just binge watch that shit. I love Wes Anderson.
I'll be honest, I don't watch Mr. Fox that much. That's the only one I don't watch much.
I'll just say I've been there since Bottle Rocket, and you're no Bottle Rocket, Ian.
I'm okay with that.
I know you don't like Tenenbaums. I know that. I like Asteroid
Oh
City.
my
I think that one's pretty
gosh.
good too. You know?
I like Tenenbaums. I like Moonrise Kingdom. I mean, I like
Yeah,
all of
Moonrise
it.
is great. Moonrise.
The Darjeeling Limited is hilarious. He's like, how is that supposed to make us feel? Like the little one-liners in this thing. Are you kidding me? The Grand Budapest. I love it. The
Ian
Key Club.
doesn't like anything that has more fun than he's allowed on a Tuesday after.
I've
you know,
never
at work.
seen After
I
Meatballs
just
4,
no. I
I'll
just
tell you that.
look. I saw Medea's Witness Protection, and everything after that just went downhill.
Well,
Speaking of downhill, this episode's going great. So I'm gonna
Straight
give-
down the tube. We're fighting for Wes Anderson like we need to do that.
Yeah,
got
right.
so
Wes
off
Anderson
track.
owns. Yeah, Wes Anderson owns an entire city block in Manhattan. He's doing just fine.
You know what I
But
haven't
It's the
seen?
weirdest pitch I've ever heard. In the
Didn't he
history.
do some short on
It's
Netflix?
Wes Anderson's Sister Act movie. I'm sure his agent is going to be thumbing down doors.
Bill Murray should definitely play the
Bill
Pope in that
Murray
version.
is
I
the
was gonna.
Pope.
Oh, geez.
Bill
was gonna-
Murray is the Pope in that.
Bill
I
Murray
was
could
gonna-
just stand there with his mouth shut and I would die laughing. He kills.
God,
I
even
was
the,
gonna pitch an
the
unhinged
Steve Zuzu
Nick
movie,
Nolte.
the fish were more entertaining than the movie.
Couldn't you mix it up with like Blues Brothers or something, since they're on a mission from God?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Belushi version of this.
They
movie,
come and pick her up, and it's like a road movie instead or something.
It's Blues Brothers 2001.
Blues Sisters.
Oh, that's not bad. Blues Brothers and Sisters.
Brothers and Sisters.
Okay, that is a cool movie poster that you can all picture where it's, Sister Act 3 and it is John Goodman and Dan Aykroyd in between Whoopi in the middle. That is a cool 1998
buddy comedy. Yeah.
That's the movie that you love the poster in the movie theater. You just never saw the movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
That is it.
That's the TC 2000.
That might be one of the better ones we've done so far, though. This and Blues Brothers is not.
I kind of like, yeah.
But that would be Brother Act. Yeah, Brother Act.
Brother Act.
Brother
Act sounds like it was pitched by the whitest studio executive that ever fucking lived. Like, it's called Brother Act, you see? And
no, that's the guy that greenlit any Wes Anderson movie. Is the guy that did that. Good Lord.
Or like anyone in the producers, basically.
Oh, fucking
Gene
Christ.
Wilder.
Right.
He's the one that pitched Sister Act 3.
Well, there are some more pitches in the chat, so I don't want to leave anyone out. And the great Angie Saunders has a pitch. Her pitch: the sisters end up having acts all over the country and end up going overseas and become popular all over the country, and bring Danny Trejo in to help manage the singing group. Wow. You had me at Danny Trejo, and then you had
there's
me
the crime element.
Oh God, that's true. Yes, I love that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So
I like
Oscar
the
Toronto.
International. They go to Italy.
What's that movie he does?
The
Badasses.
Well, there's this whole, we live in a Pitch Perfect world, and this could have been the franchise that, people, they do some a cappella stuff, someone's beatboxing, and oh God, you get the band that did the Carmen Sandiego theme song to make a cameo. Oh God. I mean, in the first one, when they get going as a group and they're going through the casinos and it's kind of interesting, The one moment where they're looking for her and they're finding all the other nuns and they sort of move as a group, like locusts or something. Like you could have done that in other locations. You could have I like the idea of bringing them overseas. I actually like Preston. Something with your white smoke was cool too. The Pope is on death's door and needs music.
You basically want Bad News Bear in Japan.
Yes,
is what
Bad
you
News
basically.
Bears.
You want Sister Act in Japan.
Yes, but in Italy,
you know what?
maybe, or somewhere where
I'll
they need God.
As another one that could play a great Pope would be Billy Bob Thornton. I would love to see Billy Bob play the Pope in this.
Yeah, but that's
just defy all
Pope.
expectations.
That's bad, Pope.
Sister Act.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, Sister Act. It's a spin-off. It's Sister Act 3 point whatever. Bad Pope.
Sister Act 3. The Pope.
The Pope. Yeah, I don't know.
He goes over to the Vatican to fight that. The same one that they do in the Da Vinci Code. What's that little group of people?
The the Freemasons or something?
Yeah,
Illuminati or something?
Illuminati,
yeah. There's something else with the guy that whips himself in that.
The Knights Templar?
Yes. Bring Tom Hanks back with a mullet, please. That's what this world needs.
We need more mullet Hanks. I just want Tom Hanks to play Uncle Ned from Family Ties one more time. But there's another pitch in the chat. Oscar Toronto's pitch. The sisters fight against a gang of vampires that sell drugs to kids, like in John Carpenter's Vampires, directed by Pedro I'm going to say it wrong.
Almodovar,
thank you. And Tarantino. Ass-kicking sexy nuns with weapons. Well, throwing some close-ups on some twinkle toes, and I'm sure Tarantino's on board. That'll be his fucking 10th movie.
That is funny, though. I worked on a very independent movie years ago, and one of the actresses was in a movie called Nude Nuns with Guns, and it was nunsploitation. We have not gotten into nunsploitation. To Preston's point earlier, we did not really go into exorcism, and we did not really go into nunsploitation. I like the new nun movies. I think they're scary as hell, and I actually like Nun 2. And I kind of have seen some nunsploitation movies as well, which is one of the rarer exploitations, I think.
I will say this, as a film historian, there actually was nunsploitation movies in the 70s, folks.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to say.
It's legit.
I wouldn't Emmanuel. is what you're wanting.
No, like nuns in prison, right? There's like women's prison movies. That's another one, you know, or like cannibal,
That's the
whatever,
Roger
cannibal
Corman movie we
Holocaust, like
never
women
got.
eat each
Nuns
other.
in prison.
They all get arrested. They all get arrested for something, and they're in prison. And she's got to like, then they're in the prison choir, you know, so they don't have to
You
bang
put
rocks all
Whoopi
day.
in jail. Okay, I actually, as weird as it sounds, that actually is a good thing to go with the third
To
one.
church, to school, to jail.
So
Yeah,
go
what
further.
if the twist is
Jail's-
in the first one, she just was trying to use that to get out of, like, she knew all about the organized crime because you can't.
She murdered someone
There's
before.
no way she didn't know about it. She just got away with it.
No,
So-
they bring her in there because she's witness protection, or she can go undercover, and and she could get. I think that would actually work pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be low security prison. It's got to be not like hardcore, like Sing Sing, you know.
No, this is not.
But
the
yeah,
Shrine.
You want
send her to
Sister Act,
prison, maybe
Sister Act
Harvey
3
Keitel's
It's
change
gotta
in
be
there.
like Orange is the New Sister Act.
Orange is the new act.
Sister Act,
That's
the
pretty
new
good.
Orange.
Orange is the new act. I like that.
Orange is the
Gold's
new
code in the
act.
chat.
That's good. That's good.
Gold's code in the chat saying Twisted Sister Act, we aren't going to take it. God, I wonder if there's an act to the future pun I could do in there. I don't know, probably not.
Oh,
Baby
yeah.
got Baby got
That's
act. I don't know, something there.
Oh.
I'm trying to think of like stupid plays on words. It's usually all I'm good for. There's some requests for a Lean on Me crossover in there. That's kind of where I was going with the Morgan Freeman of things before, and Ian's educational crossover film. And you didn't have enough McGee and me in that, Ian, and that's for Jesus too. So let's get everyone on the same side here. Barbara Bush and Jesus and Whoopi, and that's the ride or die gang that I'm gonna be.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of us that went to Sunday school in 1997, you know McGee and Me was everything.
Okay, for those who didn't know McGee and me, Oscar Toronzo's got you covered in the chat because he's pitching Brother Act with Hulk Hogan as the Pope.
Oh
my
As
God.
the Pope.
Where is our friend Angel Amoroso to pitch Hulk Hogan's, death scene by prison rape? One of my favorite highlights in all of VCR. That was, hey, the Angel. It's a.
Although,
highlight
did you guys, did any of you see on The View? I don't know if you guys watched The View at all, but that Whoopi actually a couple years ago brought the group from Sister Act 2 to come sing that song. I think
On the
Laura
show?
Hill was in there as well. Like she got
Oh, wow.
all those kids to come back and do like a little mini reunion.
Maybe
was
while
pitching
they're
the sequel.
traveling, that
She was
plane
pitching the
gets
sequel.
hijacked, and we could have Sister Siege.
Sisters.
Siege.
That is a
Oh,
great. That's a great disco band
Yes,
name.
Sister Act, Final
Sister
Siege.
Siege.
That's not bad.
Mr. Siege. Yeah, that is. Yeah,
I mean, the
sounds like
easiest
great
thing to do
disco
would
band
would
name.
just bring in like run this with last week with Mars Attacks, like Sister Act, End of Days, you know, or Sister Act, Aliens Attack, like anything, Sister, anything.
It's either Mars Acts or Sister Attack.
Sisters Act.
Sisters act. That's pretty cute.
You ought to know by now.
Yeah, I don't know if we've done it. I think we came
we
pretty
did it.
close. I think, yeah, I guess we did it. Maybe
We
did it. I don't
certainly
know.
did it.
I have concepts of a plot in my mind, but I'm not quite there yet. At
Yeah,
least, you know,
I wanted to go the way you didn't want, a little more Danny McBride, like forget everything else, just go off
Ooh,
of one
that's
and go off of
interesting.
that.
Yeah, you
But
wanted- you
Preston
wanted to
wouldn't let me
retcon
forget
that.
about two.
Well,
so.
when you say Danny McBride, I always hope you're talking about Eastbound and Down and not like Halloween 2018.
No,
or
that's what I
whatever
mean.
that
I know you
retard
hate what he
was.
did to Halloween's, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that to
Yeah.
Sister Act. Like, just
Well, I
completely
appreciate
ignore
that.
two and dive into one and like go off of that. Because if I did, then yeah, I think I'd go to prison in two, and then like I'd bust her out in three, and she'd become the president or something.
I will
crazy.
say there is a version of this where, in some way, Melissa McCarthy is in this, and it's
Oh
hysterical.
yeah, or
And I would
Sandra
love to
Bullock
see
maybe.
that.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yeah, maybe the 90s, whatever. But I would have, just throwing it out there because, kitchen sink. But some kind of like I've heard a lot of people say that they believe Waterworld and Mad Max take place in the same universe. And like, what if Sister Act is also in that universe? And it's just we just see shit like the day before the Armageddon, like the apocalypse. Like, how does this all fit? Like, half the world's underwater, the rest of it's a desert wasteland that's like thirsty for fuel, and she's just trying to get them all to like sing on key.
You're gonna
And,
need Jesus. Yeah.
You're gonna need Jesus, and yeah, it's like You know, so that you could have these action
Goldberg
scenes.
running around a boat trying to find dry land, singing.
No. More Mad Max than Waterworld. Yeah, it's like a big
Back in the
tanker chase,
habitat.
you know. Yeah, something. I don't know. But yeah, Sister Act 3 Beyond Thunderdome, you know.
Gotta find dry
Take it to
land.
the moon. Sister Act
Yeah.
in
Dry
space,
land,
space.
organ music.
Oh God,
da,
yeah.
da. Like,
We don't need another hero. I'm just saying.
Come on, baby.
he's a
rescue
fish,
me.
and I love him. My
Yeah,
God.
we gotta all just start singing.
What?
That's what the sequel is. It's just more singing and snapping.
Everyone just sing a random song. Pick one.
Ave
We need more
Maria.
cowbell.
Yes, exactly. That's where this
Christopher
franchise is
Walken.
at.
Oh,
bring in
man, yeah.
bring in a broken piano, bring in some cowbell, bring in some
Yeah.
energy, and start singing some songs. And you got it.
Maybe
You
we
got
did, yeah.
whatever.
That's not bad. Maybe we need some Chris Christopherson act or something.
John
Christopher
Legend
Walken
or
act.
somebody.
I don't know.
you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've beaten this one. We've eaten this dead horse long enough. So I guess it's time for me to ask if you guys have got anything coming up. Let the people at home know about any appearances, articles, conventions, episodes of things. Don't everyone go at once now.
Not too much going on. I mentioned it last time I was on, but we started a podcast about college football, mainly about the college Gamecocks, called Alumni Game. You can find it on YouTube, and we have Instagram and stuff. It's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on with like college sports. South Carolina is like killing it in women's basketball and has for years, so that's kind of fun to like support women's sports. And it's been fun just doing something different, you know. So check that out if you guys have a chance.
I don't know the first thing about college football, but I can't wait to get a closer look at your Gamecocks. So I'm
Well, you know
definitely gonna be
something
tuning
more
in.
now. You know that I'm a Gamecock fan, and I love just say cock. You know, why not? You know,
It's a fun word, Gamecock. It goes together. It's just one of those fun arrangements of things.
yeah, we can put it into stuff just like we do Sister Act. You know,
Press, anything going on in your corner of the world, my man? Any
Man,
shows coming up?
Everything's going on. It's been going on for months. Yeah, I'm opening the miniature shop. I've got a miniature store opening up in February here, and that's going really cool. It's got a dollhouse design center and all sorts of stuff like that in it. Working on a lot of builds, working on a lot of restorations and remodels. I just had one come in from Philadelphia, so that's exciting. They're coming in from all over now, so it's going good.
Wow.
Yeah, after the casting couch went viral, everything else just kind of started falling into place.
that's
so
awesome, dude.
It's been fun.
That's so sick.
What do you
dude.
mean restorations? What does that mean?
So like family heirloom style doll houses and stuff like that have been sitting in the basement, and your grandpa built it in '92, and it's
Wow.
you want to update it and bring it back to life and pass it down to the kids, but they don't want to play with the old lead paint.
Yeah.
So you send it to me, and I'll remodel it for you, and we'll bring your style into it. So it'll still be your heirloom piece, but just for this for this generation. And so at my studio, I just met a director yesterday or the day before. He came in and he's like, we're going to be shooting a horror movie here. We found this farmhouse. We found this place. We need some miniatures for this movie. And he's like, can you make me some? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can do that. So we'll see we'll see where that goes. But yeah,
That's
some
so
exciting
That's
stuff.
awesome.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, that's killer. Ian, any articles? What's going on with you? I know you got some news to share.
Yeah, shout out to Burial Books. In this summer, one of my short stories I wrote called Random Mark is going to appear in their anthology series. So very appreciative for them for that. But stay tuned for the newest B-Movie Challenge article on a movie that absolutely lives up to its title called Monstrosity. Not only is that the title of the movie, but the movie itself is actually a monstrosity. So
Nice.
Well, that's one I'm gonna have to walk and not run to. No, I'm just, actually, the monstrosity sounds a little bit of a deeper cut than the average fare, but it's maybe more on the mainstream than that. It came from outer space, whatever it was you were peddling
that is
last
a giant
week.
pile of it. That one.
A giant pile of it. Well, then I guess it's time for me to say that you Fandom fans might want to tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. when we bounce out of our 90s New Year with an as yet unplanned episode. But, as always, if you enjoyed this video, the best way to help is to smash that like button and leave a comment telling us what movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover in a future episode of VCR Redux. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight and Pop Culture Punk. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
My God.